What's up, everybody? Hammerheart Metal Reviews here once again. It is that time of the month, time to talk about my favorite albums that were released March 2025. Another excellent month. Had a lot to live up to after how strong February was. I will say I don't think overall March is necessarily as strong as February was, but there is still a ton of excellent releases. This was really hard to limit to only 15. Had to leave a lot of albums off this list. I'm not really including bigger name albums by like bigger name bands that I only thought were okay. I will still include big name bands if the album actually really blew me away, but like for example, you're not going to see me talk about Destruction, Cradle of Filth, Arch Enemy today. Like those albums were okay, but I wanted to focus on some more underground releases and stuff you haven't heard of. So that's what I'm doing. Hopefully you enjoy this list and get some new stuff to check out. And as usual, I want you to give me your picks down below. Let me know some albums that I need to go check out in case I haven't heard them. If you've been a fan of this channel for a long time, you know when I do these monthly lists, usually about half my list is black metal, but that is not the case this month. There's still a handful of black metal releases in here, but I found this month was really strong on like traditional heavy metal and power metal. That just seems to be what mostly caught my ear this month. Like I said, there's still going to be some other genres in here. I always have a good mix, but there was a lot of good traditional heavy metal albums this month, so you can look forward to that. I'm going to get into my top 15. I usually only include full lengths, so before I get into the 15 full-length albums, I do want to mention one EP quickly just because it's really good. It's hard to rank an EP compared to a full-length, but go check out this EP. I'm not including it as part of my list, if you will, but go listen to Ninkharsag with their new EP, The Black Swords at Winter. It's melodic black metal from the UK. Absolutely stunning album art as well. Maybe it's this side. I can't remember which side I edit those on, so whatever. But yeah, check out that album art. Absolutely great melodic black metal. Go give that EP a listen. And now let's get into my actual top 15 full-length albums from the album of March. So, kicking it off in 15th place, I am going with some black metal with Nattverd and their album Tidloes, naadesloes. Probably mispronouncing that. This is some Norwegian black metal. This is just no frills, straight aggressive, in-your-face, hateful black metal. And sometimes that's the mood that I'm in. I don't need a ton of bells and whistles sometimes. Just give me some pummeling black metal, and this fully delivers on that. This would be for fans of bands like Marduk, or Hordem Rife, Jevel, anything in that general vein. You will probably get some enjoyment out of this album. So if that's your thing, definitely go check this one out. Up next in 14th, I'm going with Gallower and their album Vengeance and Wrath. So this is some Polish blackened thrash metal. This is just an onslaught of hellish riffs and maniacal vocals. This just, you can feel the passion in the vocals and in their out of control delivery. It's really evil sounding. It sounds like it would have been made in the late 80s when like extreme metal was really just becoming a thing. You had those kind of like early black thrash bands, and that's really what this album, the vibe that I get and the atmosphere from it. It's a ton of fun. Definitely go check out Gallower if you're unfamiliar. Up next in 13th, I'm going with Lady Beast and their album The Inner Alchemist. So some traditional heavy metal from the USA. This is so hooky. It's so catchy. It is just like, yeah, it's just full of hooks. These songs are going to stick in your head. The vocalist, maybe she's not the most polished. She doesn't necessarily hit all of the notes that she's going for, but she's full of energy, and the sound suits this style of music as well. It doesn't necessarily need the most polished vocals to suit these songs. They're still catchy. It doesn't really hold it back. Like, yeah, maybe they're not my favorite vocals in the world, but I don't want it to sound like I'm just shitting on the vocalist. I'm not. I think her energy and vibe suits this music very well, and it's a very catchy album that I'll surely be going back to. Up next in 12th, I'm going with Trold and their album skovens rige. Probably mispronouncing that as well. This is some folk metal from Denmark. This would be for fans of bands like Fintroll or anything in that ilk, in that genre, if you will. Like, yes, there's not really anything necessarily original or unique. You hear folk metal, you pretty much know what you're in store for, but this is really well executed. It's a kind of music where you just want to do a folky jig, chug a beer, and listen, and it's going to put a smile on your face. It's really well done. There's nice variation from song to song as well. It's not just the same pace the whole time. All in all, if you're into folk metal, don't skip this one. Very good album. Up next in 11th, I'm going with Stygian Path and their debut album, The Lorekeeper. So this is some epic heavy metal, epic power metal from Greece. This definitely won't be the last time I'm talking about Greece on this list today. There really is just like something in the water over there in Greece. There's so many bands popping up that just really know how to deliver epic heavy metal, and this one is no exception. This is really just going to take you on a legend through some legendary tales. Just all in all, a very solid album. Great guitar, great vocals. What you're looking for in an epic metal album, fully delivered here. Stygian Path, go check them out. All right, now we're into the top 10, my 10 favorite albums that came out this month. So in 10th place, I'm going with Aran Angmar and their album Ordo Diabolicum. So this is some black metal. They are an international project, so members from different countries. This really has a ritualistic feel to it. At least one of the members is from Greece, if not more, so kind of sticking with the theme of Greece. But this really does have like that Hellenic black metal sound of bands like Rotting Christ, for example. You can kind of hear that with like some like introduction of some folky elements here and there. It's got a really dark ambience throughout the whole thing, but it's just, yeah, it's really well constructed, and I'm digging this one quite a bit. That's why I cracked my top 10. Up next in 9th, I'm going with Kerberos and their album Apostle to the Malevolent. So this is a hard band to describe. This is symphonic progressive death metal from Switzerland. There's a lot packed into this album. It's only 30 minutes long, but they have found a way to stuff a lot of ideas into those 30 minutes. There's a lot happening. You could argue maybe too much happening. We've got like dual vocals, with one of them being male, one of them being female, harsh vocals, clean vocals, orchestrations, progressive elements, like everything. They throw a lot at the wall here, and a lot of it sticks. It's a lot to take in. I feel like this band has a lot of potential here. They got some great ideas. Maybe not everything is quite on the level of greatness yet, but I feel like they have it in them to put out a great album, so I'm really going to keep my eye on these guys, and girls for that matter. But yeah, all in all, it's still a very enjoyable album. There's a lot here to like. Go check out Kerberos. If I'm even saying that right, I don't know. Up next in 8th, I'm going with Adamantis and their album Reforged. So this is some US power metal. Like I said, lots of epic metal this month, and I'm all for it. I love this style of music. This is full of memorable songs and memorable moments. You got sing-alongable choruses. You've got great guitar, some nice solos sprinkled in there as well. And you look at this album cover, you can tell what kind of music you're in store for, and it's just another epic metal album that's on my list for this month. And it's not the last one. There's still going to be more, because that's just what was flooding my eardrums on this month. And yeah, Adamantis, definitely worth listening to. Up next in 7th, going with Dessiderium and the album Keys to the Palace. So this is a one-man band from the USA. This is progressive melodic death metal. Keyword being progressive here. There's going to be hints of a band like Opeth, but then even hints of a band like Wintersun as well. You got these long and winding songs. It goes a lot of different directions. I will say his clean vocals maybe leave a little bit to be desired. They're not necessarily my favorite, but it doesn't hold it back too much, because musically this is very proficient. There's a lot to like here once again. Just a great album. I love the album art here as well, and musically it really goes so many different directions that it keeps you on your toes. Really killer stuff. Dessiderium. All right, now we're into the top 6. I feel like this is the spot in my list where, like, everything else that I just mentioned is a very good album that you should definitely go check out. But these next 6 are the ones that I see myself really going back to a lot, because they're just a notch above everything else that I just said. The ranking of these top 6 is sure to change over time. Some of these albums literally just came out this past Friday, so I haven't spent nearly enough time with them, and over time they could rise up, they could fall down in these lists, so take these rankings with a grain of salt. This is just first impressions. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into this top 6 now, because these ones are absolutely killer. So in 6th place, we're going back to Greece with Dragonskull and their album Chaos, Fire, Vengeance. So this is some more epic heavy metal, very fantasy-oriented lyrics. You've got songs about Lord of the Rings. You've got songs about Elric of Melniboné. Like, you've got everything. That's the kind of stuff that I absolutely love. As soon as they're singing about those topics, sign me up. But this is, yeah, like I said, right up my alley. Very like Manowar-esque in a way. So replayable and sing-alongable. This just high-energy metal anthems. It's just full of metal and might. You're going to be pumping your fist in the air. You are going to be singing along to these songs. And yeah, metal anthems, if that's your thing, check this album out. Killer, killer stuff. Into the top 5 now. In 5th place, I'm going with Nite and their album Cult of the Serpent Sun. So some US blackened heavy metal, so still more in the traditional heavy metal vein, but the vocals give it that blackened edge. So think bands like Morgul Blade, Malocarpatan, even like Swan Song era Carcass, if you will, for the guitar melodies and the style of vocals. Like, the guitar melodies are really what are going to grab your attention here. They're so damn nice. The vocals, yeah, are that blackened, have that blackened rasp to it. They're a little bit one note, which could be a complaint from some people, I'm sure. I still like the vibe. I think it suits the music, but really what stands out here are the memorable guitar lines. The choruses will stick in your head as well, but these guitar melodies, top-notch stuff. Great songs that they have written here. All in all, a very enjoyable album in my top 5 for a reason. Up next in 4th, I'm going with Istapp and their album Sol ter sortna. Might be mispronouncing that as well. This is some Swedish melodic black metal. I'm getting a major like Vintersorg vibe from this album, especially from the clean vocals, so like elements of Vintersorg or Borknagar, but then mixed with like the blackened melodicism of a band like Windir or Winterland. And so combine those elements together. If you're a fan of any of those projects, you will find some stuff to love here. This is just my kind of black metal. Got the right amount of melody without being too over the top melodic. You've got the right amount of like balance of clean singing and harsh singing, the right amount of folkiness. All in all, it's just an excellent album from front to back. I absolutely love it. This was top of my monthly list for quite some time until the last couple weeks. Then some other stuff crept in there. But yeah, an outstanding album. Up next in 3rd, an album that literally just came out, so this definitely has the potential to rise even higher. I just haven't spent enough time with it yet, but first impressions are very strong. It's a band I talk about plenty of occasions on this channel, and that is Judicator with the new album Concord. So some US power metal with some hints of progressive metal in there as well. Probably no surprise to anyone that's watched my channel that this is going to be high on my list because, as I said, I talk about this band quite often because I love every album that they have put out. They've never disappointed me, and this one is keeping that stellar track record intact. This is just a solid power metal album. It's catchy and epic. It's got a lot of energy in the choruses, and the guitar. It's still got some of that progressive flair. Like their last album, they really went all out progressive with some different experimentation. This one maybe isn't pushing the boundary as far, but there's still some moments here with like the saxophone on the song Miracle of Life, which adds some extra oomph to it, if you will. But yeah, another stellar album by Judicator. I'm going to be spending a ton of time with this, and in time, this could rise even higher for sure. If you're into power metal, go check out this band's whole discography because they're goddamn great. Up next in 2nd, another one that's going to be no surprise being high on this list. Another band I talk about quite often on this channel, one of the best atmospheric black metal bands out there, and that is Drudkh with their new album, Shadowplay. So Ukrainian atmospheric black metal legends. Like I said, I consistently talk about them on this channel because another band with a stellar discography and another album that doesn't disappoint. This one's really heavy on the atmosphere. The keys are a lot more prominent on this album than maybe on some of their other albums. It's really adding to the melancholy and somber tone that this album has. It's just so full of despair, and it's going to just suck you in and pull you down. kind of makes you contemplate the state of the world right now. That's the vibe that I get from this, but it's beautiful in its sadness, in its dread. They just really know how to paint these atmospheres and encompass you in it. One of the best in the genre at it. It's in second place for a reason. Almost put it number one, but there's one album that kind of caught my ear this past weekend that I just haven't been able to stop listening to, and that's why I'm going to put it in number one for at least today, and that album is Seven Sisters with Shadow of a Fallen Star Part 2. So this is some traditional heavy metal from the UK. Got lots of different influences going on. Like there's shades of a band like Thin Lizzy, but then also the twin guitar melodies of a band like Iron Maiden, but then putting their own twist on it too. So it's kind of a mix of, progressive hard rock and traditional heavy metal, new wave of British heavy metal influences for sure. This is another album where the guitar work is so insanely good. You got twin guitar harmonies throughout this whole album, and they're just so gorgeous. The guitar here is some of the best guitar playing I have heard all year. Just the way that they write these harmonies and melodies. The songs are gonna just suck you in with their catchiness. The vocals are so smooth. You got some experimentation going on as well. You got a 20-minute closing track. Like there's only 4 tracks here. The album's only like 40 minutes, but one of the songs being 20 minutes, absolutely epic to close the album off. Definitely go check out Seven Sisters. This album might just knock your socks off like it did to me. And it's my favorite of the month, for now at least. So anyways, those are my thoughts and opinions. Feel free to disagree. That's all good. And please give me your picks down below. Let me know which other albums I should check out, or if you feel like some of these are your favorites of the month as well. I always like to read your top 10, top 15, and whatever you want to give me. I have fun doing that. So yeah, that's it. Until next time, Hammer Heart Metal Reviews out.